go. But yeah, so what kind of... Hey! We've got ourselves Dota. We're in. What kind of playstyles do you think you're expecting to see? What would DeathBringer look like? You saw a bit of the group stage yesterday. How good are these guys?
So the thing is with DBG, you got to keep an eye out. Lan M, he's a very, very dangerous support. Like you give him Rubik, he's going to be a big problem. Kama, big problem as well. You've got Guevara, he's all over the map most of the time. Mineski, well, we know how they play. The draft has started, GoDz. We do have Elder Titan, the first pickup of this matchup in this best of 3 series. I'm surprised, honestly. There is a mag. No, there isn't. There's no Magnus, but the Rubik is available.
If there's Mag in the pool, I feel like it's getting picked. That's one of those heroes that not many people are really letting through too much.
No, absolutely not. It's just a free Battle Fury. It's pretty silly to give that away, but Elder Titan, it's one of those heroes, GoDz. It's like you go into a team fight, and this man, he can just stop everything. With that Echo Stomp, the whole team fight stops, you reset, you go back in, and suddenly it's going your way, and there's the Rubik I was talking about.
I mean, what better way to start a big match? First game of the day, we're going to have some good Rubik spell steals, ET, big team fight. Definitely looking like something that can be pretty explosive from both teams, and excited to see where Mineski go from this. Also to see, you know, the kind of new Mineski roster in action. Piladai only recently joining the team, so Mineski looking to kind of reshape things and come back strong. One of their first LAN events since the new roster. And we'll see how they fare here against a bit more, you know, some veterans in the DeathBringer side, but also some newer players as well. So they'll get the Sand King alongside the Rubik.
I'll tell you what, Piladai is definitely one of the best supports in the world. Like, people underestimate him because he does tend to die a lot, but at the same time, he does it for the cause. He does it for the team, and it always seems to work out. GoDz, we see the Sand King as well, second pick being made by Mineski, and this hero, that new Sandstorm change is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm definitely feeling like the Sand King is going to be a first 2 pick in a lot of these games. It just seems like initially people are like, okay, new Sand King, he looks good, and now it's like, wait, he's actually even better than we thought. Let's keep on picking Sand King over and over. And it'll probably be featured very prominently in a lot of these teams' drafts, as we'll see what DeathBringer are thinking about as far as a response to this pick. Haven't really revealed too much on either side. I mean, Mineski have kind of picked up 2 potential supports. DeathBringer, though, big team fight, wombo combo, Faceless Void with the ET.
Yeah, the ET, the Faceless Void, it's very, very scary coming up from DBG. You see that Chrono, always very strong no matter how late you go into the game. As well as that, the new changes to that time lock. I mean, if you can just keep proccing, if you get that lucky, it can sort of be ridiculous just watching it keep proccing and proccing, you just permabash the whole time. If it happens. We can only hope.
The triple, quadruple bashes going. Even without it, though, you have an ET Earth Splitter combo to pair with the Chronosphere. You're going to have a lot of teamfight damage, and Void himself doesn't actually have to do all the damage when you've got heroes like ET who can dump damage into that Chronosphere.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Instantly Silencer gets banned. One of those heroes that can be very disruptive to a big teamfight combo. Void Chronospheres, if Silencer's outside, he drops a global silence and stops that follow-up from heroes like ET or whatever else that DeathBringer are planning on picking. Wouldn't be surprised to see them get some heroes like the Lenas, the Zeus's, Phoenixes, Skywraths, whatever it may be, something that can just put even more damage in a Chronosphere.
At the same time, though, you do have a Rubik in the game. Like, every hero you choose on the side of DBG that has a good ability, this Rubik, he's going to be waiting the whole time. I mean, that Chrono sure doesn't affect the Faceless Void, but if you catch the backlines, they're not really going to be able to do much anyway.
Yeah, already looking like a pretty good Rubik game with just those 2 heroes on the table. Although ET's like one of those so-so ones, because the synergy between his spells is that you need to cast the Spirit with the Stomp, so Rubik only able to steal 1 does limit his playmaking capabilities against an Elder Titan.
Well, we'll wait up these bans, DBG. 5th ban for them now.
Yep.
Let's start diving into that reserve time. GoDz, can I just say, by the way, I was told Melbourne was cold. And I come in and it's almost 40 damn degrees. What the hell's going on?
Oh, look, Melbourne's a bit temperamental. Some days it'll be 40, the next day it's going to be pouring with rain and 20 degrees. So we'll see how things shape up this weekend. I'm glad you could come over for this tournament, though. It's definitely an exciting time to be a Dota fan if you're in Australia with all the tournaments going on. Great that we're going to get to see Natural 9, AGN. We have some Aussie teams. They're down in the lower bracket, but I want to see them fight. I want to see them make a run in this tournament. As, you know, it's going to be great either way. And then you've got the Aussies in the upper bracket. We're going to have Anna playing with OG. It could be, you know, one of his last tournaments. TI winner in action. He's taken a break from competitive Dota, but making, you know, one last go with his boys.
Yeah, he's taking an 11-month break. Once TI comes around, he'll join the team, he'll win the money, and he'll just retire again.
Okay, so TI 9 champion as well.
Well, why the hell not? Why the hell not?
Yep, that would make quite the story. You know, we've definitely had a good run of success with you know, KP getting runner-up last year. We had Anna winning TI this year. Maybe the next, you know, Australian TI hope is on one of these AGN or N9 teams. Who knows?
That's the thing. We Australians, we love an underdog story.
Yep.
This tournament, if they can pull something special off, I mean, this crowd's going to go absolutely insane. We're probably going to lose our minds too. We do see the final ban. It will be Alina coming out from Mineski, and now the third pick, or the second pick phase, comes out. I do wonder where they go with this. I mean, they really haven't revealed much on the side of Mineski. Where you look at DBG, you kind of know what they're going for here. You've got the Void, you've got the Elder Titan. It's just a standard combo.
It's pretty standard, but it's also like, what do you do against it? You kind of got to avoid those team fights, maybe get some more split pushing carries. You definitely want to get someone who can be pretty strong, hard to kill, which is where Medusa, good ban, because that's a hero that could maybe even survive the onslaught of a Chronosphere combo, and Silencer, very disruptive as well. So Mineski have to be thinking, how do we punish those long cooldowns? Like when Chronosphere is used, how do we go and take an objective? Get some kind of good scaling hero, something to take a Roche maybe, and something that's not going to be too heavy teamfight dependent.
Mineski really thinking about this third pick now. 50 seconds reserve time left for them. I guess we imagine there should be a core coming, but they could also just pick up a support as this third pick.
Yeah, Sand King pretty flexible since he can be the off-laner. Could be KP's hero, could be played in the 4 position as well. And they go Jakiro, so will be the support you mentioned. That's probably Pilot Ice here. We're going to see some 4-position Rubik plays coming out from Febby, I imagine. Should be interesting to see what DeathBringer do with their lineup now. Void can be played as a carry, can be played in the off-lane. They've got some flexibility themselves, although they may just want to pick up their other support here.
Well, they've got some insane team fight as well on both sides. Like, it just feels like if you get a good burrow, good ice path, it's just, you're going to be able to lock them down for so long. Same thing on DBG. I do love the Jakiro though. I mean, you've got that push potential as well with that liquid fire. It's just, you just keep pushing towers down, you abuse the other heroes in lane, and there's just not much they can do about it. We'll see how DBG respond to this.
Yeah, they don't really have the best lane pushing heroes themselves, but something that can definitely be solved with these next few picks of theirs. They're starting to chew through reserve time, you know, thinking things through. First game of the day, and perhaps not expecting some of these opening picks coming out from Mineski.
They go for the Skyrath, mate.
Oh, well, there's damage for your Void Chronosphere. Anyone caught in a Chronosphere with a Skyrath ultimate or an ET Earth Splitter on them is probably not going to be too long for this world.
Certainly aren't going to last very long, but we'll see if they can land these. Because do you think that is going to be a mid Skyrath, or are they just going to run as a support?
Right now, I'd say support, but you never know where a draft can go. You may pick it initially, think it's going to be a support, then suddenly you get towards the end of the draft and you're like, wait a second, this is a good Skyrath mid game, but the issue is right now is you don't know who's Mineski's running mid. They could be running like a TA or some hero that just destroys Skyrath one-on-one, so I don't think you can immediately plan on running as a mid, and it's much safer to play it in the support role.
Certainly so. Fourth pick again, that reserve time. It's about to run out. We are going to see a core coming out now from Mineski, assuming the Jakiro is obviously a support, and it should be. Mineski, they do go for the Naga Siren.
Oh, there we go. There's the carrier choice.
I've watched a few games with the Naga Siren gods. I'm not going to lie, the Riptide seems OP, but you got to get pretty darn lucky to actually proc enough.
You've got to get a lot of items too to get that attack speed. We're seeing a lot of this, mantas, diffusals, get all that agi, get the attack speed going so you can get all that damage output from the Riptide. So see if they manage to get that Naga online. Do imagine this hero is almost entirely played as a carry these days, so it will probably be JT playing this hero.
This you also can't forget, like the Faceless Void, you get a Chrono, but that Naga Siren, if she isn't in that Chrono, she's just going to song every time. And there's just nothing you can do about it. DBG, Leshrac comes out.
Just got to say, I'm pretty proud of some of these Aussies here already getting down to the bar nice and early. 10:45. I want to see this bar cleaned up. Empty it out. There'll be plenty to refill it with later, but never too early to grab a cold one. But we've got some good Dota coming your way, so get down there quick before this game gets underway with the draft wrapping up soon. Leshrac probably going to be the core hero in the mid lane, I want to say, but we'll see if that's going to be the case. Not good hero to clear out those Naga illusions. And we'll see how Mineski try and respond to this. They're probably looking to last pick their mid hero and kind of counter what DeathBringer are throwing their way.
Here's my concern though with these Leshraks, right? If they get a bad start, if he does not take off throughout that early game and he has a bit bad mid game, he basically seems like a very useless hero to have in your team. Like it just feels like he doesn't do much, he doesn't have much control, and the damage just isn't there unless he takes off early. I just wonder, Mineski, if they just shut him down, it feels like you've put all your eggs in one basket with the Faceless Void. We'll see though, DBG, they get rid of the Pugna. We're almost into this game, the last pick's coming up.
What are we going to go for here? DeathBringer, Pugna would have ruined Leshrac Skyra. Definitely don't blame them on that one. Even the decrep against the Faceless Void can be pretty annoying, so definitely a solid ban. As far as what DeathBringer are looking for, probably just someone with some tankiness. They need a frontliner, probably looking at the off lane unless they want to run Void there, but something that just gives them some good kind of frontline just damage soak, because otherwise Mineski could just run through them. So DeathBringer now with 30 seconds left. We'll find out what these last couple picks are going to be fairly soon.
Certainly so, DBG. What will it be? How do you finish this off for them? I mean, you got to admit, both drafts, it just feels like this game could go either way right now.
Yeah, one team's gone for the big team fight with DeathBringer, and then you've got Mineski who are, let's get the better carry, let's get the Naga Siren, the split push, we'll avoid the team fights and just fight you when you're split up. Whereas DeathBringer, they want to force that 5v5 kind of playstyle. So last pick is going to be a Lion.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
This is not the hero we would have expected, because this puts probably Elder Titan in like a off-lane role or something.
I've seen core lines being run.
Core line? Okay.
Believe it or not, they do run core line in the off lane. I hope we can see it. Now, mind you, it never works, but it could work this time.
It's, Lion against Naga Siren, the ability to instantly kill those illusions with mana drain. If you want to deal with the AoE illusions as well, get that Aghanims. You're a core Lion, Aghanim's Finger, you build up that damage over time as well. It could happen. I would love to see a core Lion in this game. Kunkka for Mineski, going to be the last pick, and that will round out our draft.
Yeah, it looks really good from both sides. It's going to be an entertaining game. Like, these team fights are going to be all over the place. I got to ask, like, when you look at this draft, who do you think has the upper hand at this stage?
I think the DeathBringer's lineup is a little bit easier to play, just because all you've got to do is, you throw out a Chronosphere, someone's going to die. You've got a Finger of Death, you've got a Skywrath ultimate, ET ultimate. As far as ease of execution, definitely favor DeathBringer, but Mineski, if they can execute their draft, they've got ways to win this. You've got Kunkka. The Rum is going to be so important to saving people who do get caught inside a Chronosphere. You can negate so much damage using the Kunkka. He's also just a naturally very tanky hero. Sand King as a core, similar thing. You can itemize with the Crimson Guard, with the Pipe. Definitely want to see a Pipe this game. And then Naga's just going to be split pushing. You want a team fight? Well, Naga is pushing all three lanes. And that's going to make life very hard for DeathBringer if he doesn't get caught out. So we'll see how JT plays this game. He's definitely the player to watch on Mineski. His play is going to be the deciding factor for them.
Absolutely. Get into the game very, very shortly. Of course, KP, that signature Sand King, he is very dangerous on that hero. The Burrow Strikes that do come out, it's just ravages all over the place, assuming he can find them. Again, you do have the song set up, you have the Ice Path, you have the Burrow Strikes. Whatever Rubik wants to steal, why the hell not? Moon's there as well with the boat and the torrent. DBG, of course. If they do get an early start, it's going to be really hard for Mineski because they are relying on that Naga Siren to be able to get farmed up really darn fast.
Yep. Well, here we go. First game and draft of the day. Very excited to see how this one goes. Two teams in the upper bracket, so it should be a pretty close affair. Mineski, one of the invited teams, but DeathBringer Gaming have looked very strong in various tournaments, as well as just this one here, qualifying out of China. And here we go. We're going to hop ourselves in, guys. Hopefully we'll get some of the Dota 2 audio and sounds brought to you soon, but it is the start of the day, and we're very excited to see everyone here for what is looking like a fantastic Dota 2 tournament here in Melbourne. As here we go. It is Mineski versus DeathBringer Gaming, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get into it. We'll get to their respective lanes, of course, the bounty runes. Very important in this early stage of the game. Fortunately, it does look like we aren't having a core line, which is very upsetting, I'll be honest. But then again, like I said, it doesn't tend to work very well. So you will have that core Elder Titan like you predicted, Lan M. You'll be on that support line, and I mean, look, if he stacks up those finger kills, it can get pretty stupid. I mean, honestly, it's so much damn damage if you can find it.
Yeah, even as a support, you know, it's very useful because you still can one-shot the illusions with Mana Drain. You can still build up that finger of death damage, even if you're not getting the last hits for the kills, if you just kill them recently. So still a very annoying hero for Naga to play against, which means as a core or as a support, it has a lot of value for this team. As we'll see where some of these other heroes are going. ET will be played as a core. Up top, some early warding missions coming down. Looks like they saw maybe that warden get planted and blocking the camp here as DeathBringer will be looking to see what they can get done.
Kemmer was standing in that tree line. Of course, you did have the Scar out there as well. Kemmer, they'll get started on KP here. But it looks like Pylai will join in as well. Febby is there, and I mean, they don't really want to initiate into this, surely. Like Kemmer, he may make a run in. I mean, if he gets that time walk, and he does now, he goes for it. He will not find the boundary, and he'll just time walk his way out of there safely. It's a pretty standard start.
Yeah, just going to try to secure as many bounty runes as possible, 2 apiece, nothing too crazy. And the lanes do look like Naga Siren going to be pressured a little bit down here. You want to make sure she doesn't get off to a complete free farming start. And we've got the Kunkka with a mid matchup against Leshrac. Picked to kind of have an edge in this matchup, but Leshrac shouldn't have too many problems farming, using those nukes for some easy last hitting potentially. As already we're seeing Split Earths being thrown out just to try and secure some early harass and last hits with it.
Yeah, it's that damn Tidebringer. It's just so hard to lane against. Does look like bot lane. Pylai Dai is making his way down, but JT, he is struggling a bit for the moment. It's just so hard with that Elder Titan. Like, the Astral Spirit gives you so much added damage. You just walk up and right-click the Naga Siren. There's just nothing she can do about it. But it does look like Pylai Dai will finally be there. Does have the Jewel Breath level 1 as well. This should just become slightly easier for JT.
Yeah. This is going to be a lane that Pylai Dai has to try and secure as much as possible. But a lot of harass potential from both sides, kind of. Less so the Naga Siren. The new Riptide being a more RNG based does make it your laning stage a little bit harder when you can't just throw that nuke out. Whereas Jakiro will be just using that Jewel Breath to secure as much farm as possible. On the DBG side, here we can see what their motive is, just constantly harassing, throwing out that Impale whenever it's up with the ET harass, the Spirit, building up that right-click damage and just making JT's life as hard as possible.
Yeah. Certainly looks pretty hard right now. Like, in terms of last hits, he's sitting at 3. You look at Guevara, he's at 8 with 2 denies right now, and make that 9. It's just getting worse and worse for JT with Pylai Dai. He hits that level 2 mark. He's got the Liquid Fire now. It should get a bit better. The top lane, KP, playing around with Cameron and Firefly. He does have Febby there just in case. But he is running pretty low on regen, honestly. So KP, he will salve up now. He has 1 tango left.
Yeah, this lane doesn't get too much easier with the constant Skyreth harass. It's just going to be this, you know, let's just keep getting you lower and lower, force you to bring out more regen, more tangos, more salves. Not fun at all. You can already see the CS, the Dire side, looking pretty good, other than the Void lane, which is not going amazingly. Both carries actually kind of struggling, but that is the nature of these kind of aggressive dual lanes that just make these kind of carries that rely on having an easy lane just not quite as effective.
Well, Lanham looping around, Pylai Dai, he returns, but there's the mana leak. Lanham being very annoying about this. And JT, he's still struggling. I mean, he's catching up just a bit, but Guevara, he's basically free farming on this Elder Titan. And it looks like he's probably just going to go for those tanky items with the like Crimson Guard and things like that, and it's just going to make it so much harder in those team fights, right?
Oh yeah, you don't need damage items as an ET. Your spell's just naturally going to blow people up, particularly when you've got the Void Chronosphere as a setup. So getting items that will help your team 5-man push, break towers is going to work out fantastic for him. As for the Void, he's even starting to get some good last hits in lane now. So this top lane doesn't seem to be too much of a problem for DeathBringer. All in all, small little edge their way. Nothing too concerning for Mineski. They were going to come off to a slower start. Naga Siren as a hero, as a carry, takes some time to get online, needs a bit more time to build up, and that's what we're kind of seeing here, a slightly weaker laning stage out of their Radiant side.
Meanwhile, looking at that mid lane, like OP versus Moon, they're staying pretty darn even. In fact, OP, he's slightly ahead right now, but it does feel like, again, like with these Leshracs, it does feel like you have to shut them down. If you allow them to just free farm in the lane like that, they're probably going to take over the mid lane, or the mid game, I should say. OP just continues to freeform. Like, I do wonder when there's going to be a rotation to make sure OP goes down, or whether they're just going to leave it and maybe rotate Moon around the map instead. For the moment, they will just keep farming up, and actually...
Oh, first blood in the top lane. DBG, Firefly goes down. There we go. Look, guys, it's not official LAN tournament until we miss a first blood, okay?
Oh, LAN, he's in trouble
We'll
as
get
well.
the second one, I hope.
Guevara making a run for it. He gets ensnared. JT, he's going to find it. They will get a return kill.
Mineski, that's great stuff for them. And if Lamb's not careful, he may get caught by an illusion Riptide here. He doesn't want to maybe chance the RNG, as he'll throw out some spells to make sure he doesn't get hit by him. One Riptide could have actually spelled his death there almost, but DBG, they had the stronger lanes kind of, but then they give up these kills, so that's going to be some nice gold going Mineski's way, but they're looking for the solo kill mid.
Yeah, Moon, he's in big trouble. The split earth, he gets him. Oh, OP. Very well played by him. That's a solo kill as well. Meanwhile, LAN making a run for it. JT still making the chase, but JT, he'll be able to get the burner in at the very least. OP. That's not what you want to see as a Kunkka, like dying solo to a Leshrac. That's a big deal, especially for the side of DBG.
Yeah, that's, the kills you don't expect to have happen. If your mid laner gets ganked by support, okay, that's fine, that's one thing. They rotated 2 heroes or something to kill him, but the solo kills are the ones you want to try and avoid.
Oh, top lane.
KP.
Kama. He will time and walk off.
Just some harass. Yeah, they had a nice little creep wave there, wanted to get some damage in. Nice thing with the Burrow Strike plus Telekinesis is whatever damage you do at the start of that gank, you can't entirely time-lapse it off, since it does have enough stun duration that you can at least keep some of that permanent damage. Glyph under the tower, they really want to get in as much damage as they can here. We will quickly try and fix some of these audio things, guys, as we do apologize if we miss any action. We want to get all of the sounds for you guys here in the arena as well as watching at home.
Yeah, and as that happens, Moon actually ends up getting OP, and he gets a double kill. That's fantastic. Luckily, we all saw it. Kama chasing KP right now.
We're trying to figure out what's going on through the mini-map a bit here, but once we'll get some of these sounds fixed for you guys, it will be a whole lot better, we hope, as right now, this top lane is where we're going to be camped out at.
KP, just sticking around in that sandstorm, it's just so frustrating. Like, the amount of detection you have to commit to this, to make sure this Sand King can't just do whatever he wants. Well, now I can't even see the game, so... The technician right now, speaking configuration. KP, he's actually in trouble right now. Febby is there, though. No, he will sandstorm and dodge it.
Yeah, KP just looking to get back to safety. As we'll see. Oh yeah, look at that efficiency. Burrow striking his way back to Fountain. That's the good plays. That's when you know he's a professional Dota player.
LAN, bot lane, going after Pylai Die. Guevara's there as well with the Astral Spirit, and it's a lot of damage coming out of Guevara. Pylai Die, no way he survives that one. He does end up going down. That'll make it a 4-2, 7.5 minutes in, the way of Mineski. Meanwhile, looks like our Rubik falling very low. Febby, they will not continue the chase. KP, he did actually rotate in. Of course, the Burrow Strike was available.
He's all healed up, ready to come back to this lane, rushing a Hood of Defiance, knowing that there's just so much magic damage. It's going to be some time before Void gets any kind of items to actually threaten for kills with right clicks. So early game Hoods, Pipes are going to be extra value for Team Mineski.
Certainly so. I've got to say, I mean, I thought we would see the Kunkka making some rotations early on, but Moon, he just seems pretty...
He's king of the mid lane. He got that double kill, so I think that's kind of recovered and helped his game a lot. Despite the solo kill from OP, he's kind of back in a very strong place. LAN keeps the regen buff on him with a nice impale and did not let the regen get picked up by the Leshrac. That's really the key thing there. Naga sending those illusions over, denying it. As top lane, a bit of a dive going on, it looks like. Yeah,
Febby, he could be in trouble though, Kama. He's going back in after Pylai Die again. Febby, he will end up dropping. Now KP as well. 2 heroes go down top lane, and Pylai Die, the only one to run out of there.
Nice rotation from Leshrac. OP's had a really good start with the solo kill mid. Now TP's top to secure his team a couple of kills on what looked like a very aggressive Mineski tower dive. And the punish is going to completely catch him out there. Moon, we'll see what he can do mid.
Goodness me.
Ouch.
He just wanted to come get some XP, but Loses half his HP because of it.
Yeah, support life. You know, this new Kunkka cleave are doing a bit more damage in the early to mid game with the cleave changes. And once you get armor items, it does less damage to you, but as a poor support, it does not feel fun getting cleaved in the early game.
Luckily, he is near his tier 2 tower now. At the very least, he can get a bit of XP, but make his way back down to the river. Does look like Moon anyway. He does rotate into the jungle now, get some safe farm there.
Look how tanky he is. 2,000 health, 2 braces, a magic wand. There is no bringing down this Kunkka. And if he gets the boat off, suddenly he's taking all that reduced damage as well during the run buff. It's going to be very hard to deal with him.
Certainly so. It's just that the meta right now, getting these braces and wraith bands and things like that, everyone just seems so much tankier, and yeah, this Kunkka, 50% reduced damage. Yep. Seems a bit silly. I guess that's what happens when you get drunk, though. As Australians, we'd know that very well.
Yeah, no, a true Australian champion to have here in our opening game, as we'll see how it fares. There's not really any way DeathBringer can rotate on him until they get some of these big ultimates, like Skywrath and Lion, Finger of Death with the Mystic Flare as well. And they may just be not too worried. Kunkka's not the hero that's going to carry and win this game for Mineski. It's the Naga Siren that you're better off ganking at this point anyways.
Certainly so. Bot lane, we see OP does rotate around with Guevara. They were pinging out Febby at that bot lane, but he seems to be aware of it, and he does back off in time. Meanwhile, you look at that mid lane, GoDz. That T1 tower is about to drop. There's not much Landham can do about this. He's not even level 6 yet.
Yep, with the siege creep. Nice timing for Kunkka just to pressure this one. The key thing is, can they get the deny? It's a lot of gold taken away from Moon if they can do so. And I think right now, if you're DeathBringer, you're just going to make sure you get this. Okay, they get the deny. OP, making sure the tower doesn't go Kunkka's way.
Nice little play from DBG there. It's a lot of gold being denied. Moon now does find himself Firefly. The X will come out, although he does get silenced. Landham rotating in, though KP is going to be there as well. There's going to be a bit of a team fight. They are going after Moon, but he's pretty darn tanky, and he hasn't thrown the boat out yet, though they do throw the Hex out as well, and there's the stop as well. KP. Where's the boat? He's going to go after Landham. Now the Roshan. Kama comes in. Where's the double boat? Oh, the double boat! The chrono has been committed, though, and it looks like he should drop, although...
Wait, KP just comes in and he's like, I'm out of here, guys. I'm not helping you, Moon. All 5 DeathBringer heroes rotating on Kunkka. I guess, I mean, they can kill him. It just takes 5 heroes. I couldn't believe KP's right next to it. He's like, sure, do I stun? No, I'm out.
He still hasn't got his sort of defiance today. He's just getting back to farming.
Yeah, I don't blame him. I think it was the right call. He would have likely just died with the Kunkka. Speaking of going down, Pylai gets caught out of the top lane. He got the tier 1 tower though, so the second tower Mineski have claimed now. It's definitely been a game where DeathBringer, they want to put together this big team fight. They want to use these big ultimates, but when they do so, group as 5, Mineski, they're taking towers, they're pressuring these other lanes.
It's looking good for both sides, but DBG is certainly the scarier side at the moment. I mean, Kama, he's still free farming up. He is below Moon and OP on the net worth graph, but at the same time, like, this is a Void. He doesn't farm as fast, and he is going for that Battle Fury as well. Now, this build with the Battle Fury, is this the right idea? In fact, hold that thought, because JT does come in. Just throwing the images in, but looks like Kama will be all right.
Yeah, I think it's just trying to scare him off, but the rotations are coming. With a double damage Kunkka, if they catch him with the X, there's no time walking away.
Oh, Kama, the boat's coming in. Can he dodge this? No, he cannot. Kama will go down. A nice kill there from Moon, and there's the dance. Bit of a taunt going on from him. And we'll start pushing in that 2-2 tower a bit, it seems.
Yeah, very even game here so far. Even after that, big team fight mid, they kill the Kunkka, but every time DeathBringer go for kills, they have to bring so many heroes, invest so many resources, and the entire time that's happening, Naga's always somewhere farming, even if it's just the jungle. We don't see Naga #1 net worth yet, but we're kind of on pace to get there. Triple Wraith Band, Yasha, all this attack speed. With the Riptide and the Naga illusions, you just farm so incredibly fast, and you can farm so many jungle camps at once.
And JT, like you said, he's just going to keep this up. No need for him to get involved quite yet. He hasn't even leveled up the song, so he can't stop a gank attempt if it does end up coming in. So he'll just keep up that XP. We'll see the song very, very soon, though. Although DBG, they will actually smoke up.
I imagine they want to look for the Naga Siren. They may try and go into that Radiant jungle. They've got wards in there, but the problem is they don't see Naga. So Naga, where she's farming, is very safe, very defensive. They may just have to take a kill down bottom on Sand King instead. If they can turn this into a tower, it's definitely worth it. But just getting these kills and pickoffs here and there, not enough on its own.
Well, we'll see if they commit the chrono for this. They do jump in Kama. He will use it. Now the Mystic Flare as well. It's just so much damage.
Yeah, he couldn't even get off his hood active, but even if he does, he's dead either way. They had plenty of follow-up. The Chronosphere is a pretty big spell to use there. They probably didn't need to use it, but they just wanted to play it safe. They know Mineski could theoretically counterplay it, but Mineski don't care. They're pushing top. This is this is the kind of split push style we talked about, but here they come bottom. They know Chrono's down. They've got a Song set up. They may try and take this fight. Song into Ice Path. Yeah. Here it comes.
There it is. The Song's there, although he's catching nobody quite yet. Only Guevara. Now he's caught 3 at the very least. The Ice Path is there with the macro. Parlay Die. Guevara will just walk out of there. The net, the boat as well. They're going to lose their all the time. Are they? Meanwhile, KP in the back lines. He does find another. They found OP as well, though. Can they deal the damage? Febby, he does steal the lightning, and he will use it on the Ice Path. Parlay Die finds it. A double kill for him.
It wasn't quite the setup with the sleep, but they just backed it up, knowing there's no Chronosphere. They just weren't afraid. KP comes in, gets a great double Burrow Strike off, and they just have so much damage at this stage of the game, with Kunkka having an armlet already. Ouch.
Parlay Die.
Parlay Die gets caught out there, but LANM builds up his first finger of Death Stack.
Oh, JT top lane. Actually, I think got the Void Kama. He just time walked, but it is a very short cooldown. He'll be right. Just walk it off.
Yeah, going for this greedy Battle Fury build. It feels right because you're playing against the Naga Siren. You're going to need to be able to push out these waves and play more towards the late game. And the Void does give you that better scaling. So definitely understand the reasoning behind it. It feels like the right item. The problem is just going to be their lineup when they don't have these ultimates is very slow.
Oh, KP, Burrow Strike. He actually just split Earth.
OP.
The Sandstorm as well comes out. He might even think about reinitiating here. Febby, he's moving in. He won't actually go for the lift quite yet. He's still in Viz though.
Yeah, worried maybe. Sentry, they do plant one there.
Yeah, Febby. He's going to end up going no Parlay Die. He gets the Ice Path, but the stomp was there from Guevara. Now, the Split Earth as well. KP trying to make a run. He does get the Burrow Strike off. Now the boat as well. Guevara, he's in big trouble. Although he is pretty darn tanky. OP walks into the Ice Path. Parlay Die. He will use himself up. LANM, he only gets one with the Earth Spike. And meanwhile, Moon, he finds a double kill.
Him. He got 2.
There, LANM as well. He's been X'd up. Torrent will not end up connecting all the Ice Path, though Kama, he finds a 3-man burrow, and it looks like they're all in quite a lot of trouble, though they are going for the Conquer, but Moon, he used that boat run buff. He's still
toggling.
He's toggling that armlet. It's not quite enough. Guevara on a double. Parlay Die as well now, being chased up. Can he make a run for it? Well, he's going to try with the Ice Path. He does catch 2 with it, but it looks like he is just dead.
He wastes a bit more time from him, but great Chronosphere coming in. You do have JT farming elsewhere on the map, but Mineski, it starts off as a pretty good fight. They get that first kill or 2. Kunkka really hitting hard in these fights. With that cleave, he killed both Leshrac and Skyrath in one Tidebringer. The problem was they were just so committed to a fight, and Void comes in with a Chronosphere, has enough damage with his teammates behind him that he can punish Mineski's over-aggression. But still, I think if you're Mineski, you say, okay, that was a bit over-aggressive, but it's okay because you're creating space for Naga Siren. If you're losing that fight with Naga there, it's a bad fight for you. But when Naga's free farming Ultra on the map, you feel pretty good about yourselves.
Well, JT, he will continue with this. Has got the full BOTs up now. He actually skipped the Manta for the moment.
Yeah, it just allows him to play everywhere on the map. If he needs to join that fight, he can boots to travel in with a Song, or he can just, push top, TP in mid, push mid lane as well. So he's pushing multiple lanes while his team are just playing like 4v5 Dota, which is a great way to play around the Naga Siren.
OP.
Yeah, Mineski want to kind of force the issue and maybe take a tower here. They know Chrono's going to be down for another like 80 seconds or so. This is their time to play aggressive.
Well, JT, he's got the Song available if he wants to use it for that initiation. So Guevara is there to stop anything that occurs. Like Parlay Die, he baits them out. OP, he walks in, the Echo is there, and now the Split Earth as well. The Song will save them for the moment, and JT walks in and TP's in front of him.
I was wondering if they might try fight that one with an Ice Path, but they only had 3 heroes. They may still lose Parlay Die, unfortunately. No TP, Parlay Die.
What are you doing, mate? What have you done?
It's hard, the Naga with the instant. Naga, maybe you can wait a bit before you TP there, give Jakiro a bit of time to get further away. But the insta TP out, mate, they were just going to chase him down. But not the end of the world, just losing a Jakiro. And maybe actually a Rubik if they're not careful. Okay, Febby with that Blink Dagger pickup. That's how they got that initiation here. He's going to be key in these fights.
It's an early blink as well, like this Rubik. It's not very often you get to see that though. KP, bot lane, Kama, he will get Burrow Striked up, Epicenter, Torrent, boat as well. Is it enough damage? Looks like it could be, but no. The boat, it does not actually end up connecting Febby. They're still dealing a lot of damage, and they will end up getting Kama.
Oh, he was just, I think he just had enough money for his Battle Fury. That is He did not buy it before he died. He was like 10 gold short of it maybe and just was trying to get to the shop to pick it up, and that's going to delay their timing even further. Does have Chronosphere back up, so even without the Battle Fury, he may just tell us, screw it, let's go team fight, let's smoke up again. Anytime we have this Chrono, we should be able to win a fight, although that does get harder as these survivability items come into play. KP now has a full pipe on his Sand King.
Yeah, certainly so. And I guess you'd expect now that Blink Dagger to come out of KP as well. Like, he doesn't have that mobility quite yet, but with that Blink Dagger, and in fact he has queued it up, it's going to be a lot harder to initiate into this team. Like, those Burrow Strikes, if you hit a 2 or 3 man, it just turns everything around. So we will keep an eye out and see what KP does.
It allows him to go for the backlines too. These squishy supports.
They've actually caught the Conker, and looks like he's just dead.
Yeah, he's getting greedy there. He was farming up the Ancients, and they actually get the D-Ward as well inside the Chronosphere, so even better. 2 for 1 Chrono. We'll see Chronosphere being used though. So, like last time though, we may see Mineski immediately get aggressive. Chronosphere is the most important ultimate of them all, just because it sets up all the other big ultimates. There is possibility for like a Yule Scepter combo or an ET Stomp to land.
Pile die. Getting caught out again. He will get fingered, Lan M. He does not get the kill, but regardless, Pile die. I mean, he's got 7 deaths right now. He's not having the best game, but the Ice Path has been pretty nice. KP, bot lane, going to be in trouble. Stomp will not connect. Febby will actually lift Kavara up before he can get there. And it looks like DBG just more than happy to back off and get back to farming.
Yeah, it seems they've got this Battle Fury now. Anytime Chrono's down, they're okay to just match Mineski farm for farm. When Chrono's up, they want to use it. And they've shown they don't mind using it just for a solo kill. You kill a core hero like a Kunkka or a Naga Siren, it's well worth it. They'd probably love to kill Naga Siren. That's just not been something they've been able to do yet, but as it stands right now, both teams playing a bit of a slower game. JT has 3,000 gold, could buy his Manta Style now if he wants to. And it's going to be Mineski making the next aggressive move. The Naga did just TP top though, so she is not going to be there for this fight if it breaks out.
Certainly so. They did draw that lineup through the top jungle though. Perhaps, I mean, I thought there may be a bait play coming out, but Mineski, they are going to run through the jungle.
Moon just trying to bait himself a bit mid, just using that X, but yeah, they're running right at OP.
It's a big pickup if they can find it, and they do. Febby, he gets the lift now, the Ice Path as well. The Jewel Breath, can they deal the damage? Yes, they can, OP. He goes down.
Nice game. Every bit of damage being used. The Epicenter channel during the Ice Path, so he can then Burrow Strike afterwards.
He's going to go into Firefly. They will connect as well. The Ice Path is there. Guevara, he throws out the Earth Splitter, but well, it will connect. It just won't really help the situation.
He's dead for 70 seconds. Did he buy back in that? Oh, he bought back in that bottom fight, I think, because that's a very long respawn timer for a Skywrath Mage. And great use of the Chronosphere cooldown. Chronosphere goes down, and they instantly, they look to go fight. They look to try and punish the fact that it was used, and they get themselves a kill in the jungle and a core, a kill mid, and they're getting some good damage on this tier 2 tower.
With that, DBG not going to be able to defend this. Top lane, you saw Lan M. He's just been free farming this whole time. He got a Blink Dagger up. I guess he can make a big difference with that Earth Spike, and in fact, he is going to TP mid.
They want to fight, maybe. They've got Void Chrono. Even with Skywrath dead, they can definitely still win a fight with a good Chrono.
Well, we see OP has respawned. The Void Camera.
He's showing bottom, which makes it very safe now for Mineski to push. As long as no one gets caught by like a Yule Scepter. And they're just leaving Pilot die. Ooh, bottom. Just trying to steal a Time Walk, it looks like.
Yeah, and he did get it.
Not the biggest spell to steal, but can be kind of handy.
Look at Guevara as well. Looks like he ended up getting a BKB for himself now as well, so you can't really disable him at this point.
Yeah, this is always good against those like Naga Siren sleep setup kind of drafts, just having that magic immunity. And both sides will be wanting BKBs this game for sure.
Smoked up with the Shadow Blade as well.
They've got to suspect this.
Oh, Lan M, he gets the Hex off with the Dust as well, though. Ice Path will not connect, and Kama will get started on this Sand King. Though Nice Stomp comes out, and now the Stomp as well. He's lined them up perfectly. Parlay die. The Ice Path off cooldown in a second, and he finds 2 of them. Now the Macro Pyre as well. KP gets the Burrow. Can they burst Lan M down the list? Yes, they do. And now the Chrono. It's been used.
Epicenter on OP in the backlines. They're just destroying DBG.
Yeah, OP trying to make a run for it, though the Burrow Strike is there, and JT will come help out as well. Guevara trying to deal some damage back, maybe find a return kill, but it looks like now he's in trouble. And Guevara overstays his welcome. He will end up going down, and that's 3 kills going to the way of Mineski.
Oh, they got another. Febby just chased down Firefly, so 4 dead. Chronosphere used, not the teamfight DBG wanted. And what a sleep setup. It just wins him that fight. The fact JT can show up, he's been quietly farming, and it's because of this. He can come in and have such a big late game impact. They win one fight and suddenly they're pushing high ground. And even when these heroes respawn, their ultimates are going to be largely on cooldown.
Yeah, it's going to be a big problem for DBG. We'll see if they can actually defend Kama. I mean, he's got a Shadow Blade, but he's got no Chronos. Like, what the hell do you even do with this?
Yeah, it doesn't feel good when you have this item and your ultimate's on down. You don't really feel like a real Void in that point, a real hero at all. And suddenly Mineski will take a tier 3 tower back off. They can go for Shrines here. They still know there's a little window where there's no Chronos here, but they don't want to risk going high ground. Even with Chrono down, you might get caught in a stomp, into a Finger of Death, a Leshrax, and there's so much nuke damage that you do have to play a little bit cautiously.
Well, DBG, they lost the tier 3. No Raxes down yet for them. Felt like they could have actually gone for that mid-Rax, but they are.
Yeah, it's possible. It's just very risky. And I think they're feeling like they have the better late game. There's no need to take an unnecessary risk when your lineup is scaling better.
Certainly so. Looks like OP going for what looks like a BKB now.
Yep.
He's got that up. It's going to be very problematic because you've got all these disables on the side of Mineski, but OP, he just wants to be able to run throughout the team fight, just dealing damage with that Pulse Nova.
I think for DBG, you really have to get a good team fight when your BKBs come up. When this Leshrac BKB, and I imagine Void will get one next as well. He's a bit further away from it, but when they get BKBs, that's where you have to be winning fights. If you're not winning fights with BKB, this game is going to start to look very ugly quickly.
JT, he just picks up that Manta style as well. It looks like they're going to move into that Roche pit. DBG.
Yeah. They're happy to take a team fight now. The fact they have Song of the Siren against Faceless Void is just so good for team fights now because they can back it up and just survive through that initial onslaught.
They've got the BKB up on OP as well, but do they actually know the Roshan's going on? I don't see any vision at all around that Roche pit from DBG.
Yeah, they've lost it. That's the downside. When you lose that one big fight and you lose your Shrine and your Tier 3 tower, suddenly you lost the entire ability to contest take Roshan yourself. So easy free Roshan for JT. He takes the Aegis because he knows if he gets chronoed and dies, they lose the fight. The only way they lose is if JT gets caught with an Aegis. It's just not going to happen.
There be. Was mid lane, DBG, they move in, and it looks like Mineski not quite ready to initiate into a team fight. Of course, they probably are aware. The chrono is available, and Kama's already looking for them with that Shadow Blade.
Yeah, he's a bit over halfway to his BKB. That may be the call. Look, they've got an Aegis. We haven't got Void's BKB. Let's just slow it down a bit. We're not going to beat them late game if you're DBG, but you still have to get these key items before you take a team fight. You may even just have to wait for Aegis to expire.
JT moving in lane M. He'll start off with the Hex onto Febi, but the Burrow Strike comes in. KP found two of them. They burst him down immediately with that Epicenter. Now JT looking for more. He does have the song available, mind you. Febi in the back lines as well. They will silence him up. This could be dangerous, though. He does have a Manta and an Aegis for that matter. A Burrow Strike. KP! He found three of them again. Highlights. He wasn't even ready for it, although he does end up going down. But now the macro, the boat as well. He connects on two of them. Moon going in with the damage. They're going to lose Guevara throughout all this. There will be a buyback from the Void, but
KP, I think, surprised his own team there with that Burrow Strike because everyone was just like, oh, wait, we're going in? Oh, shit, we should have gone in.
Yeah, Barlow died backtracking. He's just like, do I throw the Ice Path?
Yeah. He's set his team up to take maybe an early Rax here. We're not even 30 minutes in, and KP may have died for it, but it set up a perfect Kunkka combo. They'll take the tier 3 tower and back off for now. I think a little bit afraid with OP's respawn. They still have the sleep, though, if they want to wait a little bit longer. Maybe try and fight around that next Kunkka boat, which has also come back up. So Mineski, happy to slow things down. Again, feeling like they're the ones in full control. They've got the better late game. They're taking Shrines. They've got an Aegis. And the comeback potential for DeathBringer Gaming is purely around hitting those big ultimates, like a big Chronosphere. And that gets harder and harder to win fights around that because there's going to be Aegises. People are going to have buybacks.
Lan M will find their Hex onto Febi. Now OP with the Split Earth as well. And they're just going to burst him down. The finger is there. He does get 3 stacks now. JT trying to make a run for it. He does have the song, but they get the Yules off just in time. JT, can he actually make a run for it? Moon all stacked up the ice path. It will connect now. The macro as well with the boat. They're going to burst 2 down immediately. Buyback is there from Lando. Camera will go through with the chronosphere. And now they're going to go straight after KB.
Oh,
the ice path.
path.
Highlight die saves the day for the moment. Camera still going through all this. Febby with the lift as well. But the burrow strike again coming out. Though, Camera will end up falling.
They've got an Aegis on Naga though. She's coming back.
She will be back to Vara. Trying to fight all on his lonesome. It looks like he will for the land him. He does find Guevara. Still fighting throughout all this. The poor bloke, he does end up finally going down.
Is that ET right click? Oh, jeez, he packs a punch.
And he gets the Hex as well. The TP cancellation and OP's there to finish him off. What a team fight coming up from both sides. But they're still going. OP. He's found Moon as well. The boat's coming in. He's got no mana left. Moon gets stunned up. OP.
They don't want to lose this gem. KP's buying back to try and save him.
KP.
KP's coming in.
Oh, Epicenter, he's charging it up the burrow strike as well. OP, he could be in trouble. He's getting bursted down and he's gone. Now they do get the Mystic Flare, but look at the damage.
KP.
He's so tanky right now.
He's splitting it.
He's got 5.2k HP on this Kunka with the armlet on.
With this Heart of Tarask, he's just unkillable.
Lanham, he's stuck around. The burrow strike is there. KP, the torrent is there as well.
What a great buyback. KP knows his Kunka's in trouble. He may have all that survivability, but he's just going to get chased down. But his buyback allows him to go in and kill the Leshrac. DeathBringer, the second you see that Sanking buyback, you have to know he's going to TP to that shrine. He's buying back purely to save Kunkka, and it was a bit of a big blunder that they just stuck around and still chased, even with Sanking buying back.
Yeah, it's a real shame from DBG, but we'll see if they can get a defense going. I mean, they've got the void up in about 5 seconds or so. I mean, look at the HP of Moon. 5.6k with the armlet on.
Yeah, that's pretty hard to go through, as he's going to go for an Assault Crest next as well. He is damn near unkillable, leading the net worth charts. Naga Siren not far behind as well. It just doesn't feel like DBG have anyone to really match up to these heroes here in the late game. Void's BKB still not complete. These buybacks in that last fight, as much as it looked like an okay fight for DBG, it just costs them so much when they have to use all those buybacks.
Come up. Just going to keep farming up for the moment. Does have his BKB pretty darn soon, but just felt like there was so much damage lacking as well. Like, he gets the chronos off, but he tries to take down the Kunka, and he just stands there and takes it like a man. Now, Mineski, they are rotating into that bot lane. It looks like they want to try and get some initiation off on the side of DBG, but they do back off in time as well, understanding that something may be wrong on the map. With that, we do have a bit of a long period. They're just going to farm up for the moment. Looks like JT going to be picking up at a heart of his own. In fact, I think he has it. Now, I mean, when the Naga Siren's got a heart, like with those damn mirror images, they just never die.
Yeah, this is where everybody starts getting damn near unkillable.
He's going after the Skyreath Mage. They have found him. They should be able to burst him down quite easily, though Kama, he will find a double chrono. KP's outside of it, and again, Parlide's eye with the Ice Path. He stops everything. The Earth Splitter is nice, but where's the follow-up damage? KP, Epicenter, he comes in. Kama, he has the BKB, though. They're going after Guevara, who also has a BKB, and Lan M, who are coming with the Earth Spike. KP just trying to make a run for it. That Aeon Disc was blocked, and Moon now in trouble. He will throw the boat out finally, and they will find Kama. Lan M in the back line, just deciding whether he wants to get the hell out or not. OP, the Burrow Strike again onto 2. They will end up losing KP, though. JT still making a run for it. Febby, he will get the lift off, and now the ensnare as well. Lan M, just in the middle of all this, Moon, he does return.
Moon's just so tanky and hard to deal with in the front line series. Cleans up. They may be able to kill some of these heroes. The ET is so scary with his right clicks, but that's really all it feels like DBG have. And that's not the hero you want to be looking at to do damage. You want Void, Leshrac. These are meant to be your damage dealers, but they just feel so squishy in the fights. Only the ET can hold his own, and Moon is just untouchable. He is having a fantastic game.
And DBG again, put in a position where they have to defend their base, and Mineski play this very safe. They do not go for the mid-racks. They rather just back off.
Yeah, they see the ET buyback. I think that's a hero that's kind of scared them a bit this game. Every single fight, he's just looking very beefy and hard to deal with. So they respect his presence in this game. Even with just 10k net worth, he feels like such a big damage dealer. And Mineski, I think, also know they can just look to secure that next Roshan potentially. Jakira not getting the GPM talent. I think he's saying, look, we can end this game soon. Let's get some of this liquid fire attack speed reduction. Put that on the ET, put that on the Faceless Void, and I think Pilot Eye feels like this game could be ending pretty soon and he won't get much out of a GPM talent.
This is Pilot Eye though. He's the most selfless support you will ever see. Like, he won't even take the gold for himself.
I've never seen a Jakiro do this until Pilot Eye. Well, 70 attack speed for ET. That's not too bad.
Absolutely not. See, Guevara, they're just sticking in the base right now. Like, they are not feeling very well. Sanj and Yasha. No, in fact, it's not Sanj. No, Kaya and Sanj comes out. I was going to say...
Those colors, man.
Yeah.
The status resistance can be pretty nice. It's health as well. It's definitely an item that sounds great on Leshrac. It does a lot of little things right without being too expensive, but it's not like a big crazy item that's going to change this game.
Ask though, GoDz, like, in terms of DBG, we understand they're behind. In fact, it's 16k net worth behind right now. What the hell do DBG have to do to put themselves back into this game?
They got to win a big team fight and catch the Naga Siren at the start. Probably even contest next Roshan. If you can kill Naga before sleep comes out. If you chrono anyone else, Naga's going to sleep, reset the fight, and they're going to turn on you. So kill Naga at the start and kill her first.
Oh, Kama.
That is not the target you want to go on, I don't think. We'll find out.
Oh, Kama gets started the chrono, but KP in the back lines. He found the double burrow as well as the epi, though it was cancelled off, and they're still going for Moon. And now the chrono's been stolen. KP's stuck in it, though. The macro has been dropped. LNM will be all right. He's going to stand in the fire. I don't know about that one. Guevara, meanwhile, in the middle of all this, they've lost the Rubik. Again, the Burrow Strike comes out, and OP falling pretty darn low. Guevara still making a run for it. They throw the Mystic Flare out. Are they still going for this Naga? They do end up bursting him down, though Kama will lose his own life, and now the double burrow again comes out. Firefly's gone, Landham's gone. There's only OP left, and it could just be a full team wipe here. They're going to make the chase. The Ice Path, it doesn't connect. KP, where's the burrow? It's not in range. At the very least, DBG, they'll get one away.
Yeah, they may have to use some buybacks here if they want to hold. Good team fight for Mineski. The Naga just actually looking like she can be dealt with, but it's Moon's Kunkka who just gets cleave after cleave off in these fights. They don't have anywhere near enough damage to kill him, and even with these buybacks, at least the range racks is going down, maybe the melee as well.
Well, they haven't learned the lesson quite yet, GoDz.
Yeah, they're going back in. Is Kunkka the guy you want to go on? It feels like the answer's been no all game long.
Look, Moon's just dancing the whole time, though. They do get a burrow. OP in trouble. He will be KB up, and now they go for Pilot Die instead, although Pilot Die actually not dying very quickly. He's just going to walk his way out by the looks of it. In fact, Moon, can he deal the damage to burst him down in time? KP may end up falling, and he does, but they will get OP as a trade, and Kama, he will have to back out. Moon, Torrent, it will not end up connecting into the cleave as well. Will not quite be there, but nevertheless, still, it does feel like Mineski are getting more out of these team fights.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look at that. Kunkka, 500, 450 HP regen with the Heart of Tarascan, his itemization, but
seems balanced.
Yeah, seems pretty good. Agreed. Well, he's going for some damage now. He's like, okay, now it's time to go for those fun Daedalus type items. But range racks claim they didn't quite get the melee one mid, but once again, it's DeathBringer holding by using buybacks. And when you've got the weaker late game lineup, that's not going to set you up to win late game. If you're spending money just to hold onto your rack, you've got to win fights sooner rather than later. And I think they feel desperate. They're running in. They know that a potential Roshan could be going down. They just feel pressured to try and make something out of it.
Lift X is there, the boat as well, and Kama is going to find himself in trouble. He gets stunned up before the chrono there. He will get the time walk off. He is out of there for the moment.
Yeah, his BKB was on cooldown, so it was very dicey for him, but it's back up now. Again, you just can't go on Kunkka. That last fight, the second they initiate on a Kunkka and one-man chrono him, the fight's lost. It just doesn't go well. You need this chrono on heroes that can actually die. It's not even about getting like a super big priority.
Here we go again. They're going after Kama, although Finger is a lot of damage, but he BKBs up. He just walks out of there. Whew. Well, JT actually finding a kill on the backlines onto Kama. Now the song as well. Guevara is still chasing this Kunkka. But look at the lineup. He's found all four of them. The boat comes in, the Ice Path, the Burrow Strike as well. The Wombo combo. The only one left is Guevara and OP. I don't know if they actually get out of this one. JT's there. Look at all the disables coming up. They're gone. It's a full team wipe. GG's gone as well.
Great game from Mineski to open up the day. What a showing from Moon's Kunkka. I love the fact we saw this itemization, not going look for any of that dataless crit stuff. He knows he just needs to survive and be a frontliner. All that extra strength he's getting is turned into damage with his Tidebringer. He's just shredding apart the DBG backlines anytime he hits them with a cleave. And it was just a fantastic showing all around. So there we go, Mineski. Gotta say, they look good here. They came out, you know, it was a slowish start, but that's the nature of picking this Naga Siren. But at no point did this game look like it was in a bad place for them.
No, absolutely not. They do look very, very strong coming into this tournament. Though we will see if DBG can push it back in game number 2. Of course, this is the winners bracket best of 3s. We have just started, but they do have a chance to come back and hopefully continue in the winners bracket. Of course, it is MLP, it is GoDz. I believe we are going to take a 5-minute break before game number 2.
Yeah, we're going to look to get some of this audio stuff fixed for you guys watching here. We do appreciate your patience as we'll head to a break and work on getting some of this stuff fixed and coming back with game number 2.